Alright, I'm going to try this again. My camera keeps shutting off. I don't know why. I'm not touching the button. I don't know. Anyway, so today I'm doing another cooking video. I'm cooking beef stew. I can never tell if this is getting me in frame. Okay, whatever. Oh, excuse me. So I just want to share with you, like, what I use and all that stuff. I cook beef stew in a crock pot. I don't know if there's any other way to cook it. This is, a lot of this stuff is how it's been done through, like, just learning from my grandmother cooking or my mother cooking, just seeing what they do. So, I just kind of do that too. So, ingredients that I do use are Gravy Master, chicken bouillon, it is granulated, and this is the sodium-free, gluten-free ones, and they're just packets like this. So you really don't need a whole lot. It just depends on what you like for flavor. I do have, in the past, I've used this one, but unfortunately this one, although it's gluten-free, it has 870 milligrams of sodium in it. And I'm trying to lower the amount of sodium in my diet, so I decided to go with this one, which is gluten-free as well as sodium-free. So, I don't know, it works for me. Water is one of them. So basically what I do is I go into the meat section and I get those little packets that are like this, that have the pre-cut meat in it, the beef. Obviously it's beef stew. I usually get 4 packages of that. My son likes the meat. So I get, 4 packages of that. And plus I have a big crock pot, so it's all good. So what I do is I put like 3 cups of water, measured cups of water, into the bottom of the pot, and then I put the meat in, and I let it tenderize. And that's when, like, I use the Gravy Master, because that gives it the coloring and a little bit of flavor. A serving size of this, just so you know, is 1/4 of a teaspoon. So you don't need a whole lot of it. Like, all you really have to do is unscrew the cover, okay? Pour this into the cover and pour that in. That's all you need. Feel free to experiment with as much or as little as you want. And obviously one of these, I put 1 packet in, but it's based on taste. And since it doesn't have a lot of sodium in it, I think you can work a little more with maybe adding 2 packets, maybe 3. It really depends on how many people, what the taste buds are, and your personal preference. So I let it simmer, like I started it this morning. Excuse me. And the meat has been tenderizing. Like, I have it on low, and it's just been cooking the meat. So let me show you what I'm putting in. Okay, so red skin potatoes. As I've already mentioned, I prefer red skin potatoes. If I'm going to eat a potato, it's going to be red skinned, because the skins are healthier for you, and I like the taste of these potatoes better than any other potato out there. That's just my preference. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. There's 7 in here. I meant to do 6. Oh, maybe there's 8. Whatever. You don't have to eat it all at once. Obviously, this can be something for leftovers. Onions, celery, and carrots. I would suggest, though, that when you're cooking this meal, because a lot of people don't have a lot of time and stuff like that, do the prep work in advance. Cut up the onions, cut up the celery, get it all ready to go. So all you're doing is just cooking. Because prep work can take time sometimes. That's usually like the most, that's usually what takes a lot of time in cooking, is prep work. It's not the actual necessary cooking per se, depending on what you're cooking, but it can be that. So I just want to show you the meat. This is the crock pot. As you can see, it's on low. It's a fairly decent sized crock pot. And I have a straw in here to kind of let the air kind of come out, because if I don't, then this thing will start to do that and bubble, and I don't want that. So this is the meat that's inside. Let me just show you what that looks like. See? That's the meat. That's what they look, well, whoops, fogging up. That's what it looks like after it's been cooking, but obviously that's the size meat you want. At least that's what I use. Hold on, I just gotta put this down for a minute so I can put this straw back in. Okay. Now, putting this stuff in, I would start with the potatoes. You can cut them in half or do what you want. I prefer to put them in whole. If they're really big potatoes, then I would suggest cutting them in half. It really depends on how much room you have and all that stuff. So it's really just a judgment call. But I'd put these in first because, like the meat, they take a little longer to cook and tenderize. And the second thing I would put in is carrots because they are harder. It's harder for them to soften up. And then the onions and the celery, you can really put those in more towards the end. Like, they don't take long to cook at all. So, stay. So, yeah, that is what I'm making for dinner. Since I live in a state that gets very cold in the wintertime, we get snow and all that fun stuff, it's nice to have meals like this that are healthy for you, and it incorporates vegetables. So if you have kids, they're eating the vegetables, and it encourages eating vegetables as well. You know, and it leaves leftovers. So it's not like, so you can have it again, you know, for tomorrow's dinner, especially with, you know, if you don't have a lot of money coming in, food is tight, it helps to have food that you can eat. Maybe you don't want to eat it tomorrow, but you can eat it the day after that or whatever. For me, that's what I do because I have to make my food stretch. I have to make my money stretch. So I try to make food during this time of year that can last a couple days, you know, even if it's one extra day. It just saves me from having to use more food and cook something completely different, you know, and then run out of food faster. So that's just my take on that. So yeah, that's what I'm cooking for dinner. I'm sure many of you have had beef stew and whatever, but yeah. So I hope you like that. Give it a try if you have a different way that you cook. Oh, and I just want to say, yes, I do use chicken bouillon. I do not like beef flavoring. I don't mind eating beef on occasion, but I really don't like the flavor of like the beef. I don't like that flavor. I like chicken. It's just my thing. I love chicken. I could live off chicken for the rest of my life. Although it's not very healthy to live off chicken for the rest of your life. If the only thing left in the world were chickens for a food source, I could live off of that. I'd be cool. But so don't feel like you have to use this chicken. Use the beef one if you want. Use vegetable, like whatever your preference is. This is just the way that I'm making it. So yeah, I hope you like that. Give it a try. And like I said, it helps to promote eating vegetables because there's carrots, there's celery, and there's onions. And vegetables taste different when they're cooked as opposed to being raw, you know, or steamed, you know. So just kind of, you know, work with vegetables and stuff, especially if you have kids. Because kids don't always like vegetables. I'm lucky my son likes vegetables for the most part. He does like carrots. He might not eat the celery, and I'm okay with that. As long as he eats one of those, I'm good. Really, I'm good. Okay, well, I'm going to go now because I'm just kind of babbling. So, all right, I'll check you guys later. Bye!